around here, if a mouse came in here, this whole choir would scream and run. And yet still, before sin, man had domination, and he was made to rule his environment. I wish somebody'd help me now. What am I preaching? What am I? All curses are off. Let me see. Maybe I can get something else. Help me, please. Now I'm going to get another subject here. Somebody look at your neighbor and say, neighbor, help me out. Before sin, man was in charge, and man was the man, because God made him in his image and gave him authority, told him to be fruitful, replenish, multiply, and subdue the earth, because that's my rightful position. I'm supposed to stand in the glory and the honor that God has given, and I'm supposed to rule. I'm supposed to rule my house. I'm supposed to rule my community. I'm supposed to rule my environment. God did not make me the tail. He made me the head. Oh God, I feel it here. And if you sisters are worried and you have a head, all you do is tell your head, look at how his head treats him. That's the only way to do it, you see. But don't ask me to have responsibility if you're not going to give me authority, because responsibility goes with authority. So we're further now because of the fall. I have lost that honor and that glory that God has given me, and I'm further removed from God. The more distorted the image and the likeness becomes. The father who ignores God literally removes his son spiritually, because the link between God must flow through the father into the son and the daughter. If the father removes himself from God, then he removes himself from the source of the spirit, and in the spirit is the power for the man to be in charge of his environment. Help me out, Lord, help me out. And so now the penalty and judgment increases as the image and likeness decreases. And so here we are in a world of extreme chaos, because man separated himself from God. And when you separate yourself from God, your life cannot consist of anything that would follow God. You can't separate yourself from God and have a life as if God is in the middle of it, because the consequences of separating yourself from God is the pitfall of having to handle it all by yourself. And there's nobody in here who can handle life all by themselves without the power of the living God. Oh, I feel it here. So knowingly or unknowingly, my father's struggles with God intensifies mine. The closer my dad is to God, the easier my life will be, because I am going to operate not only in his likeness, but I'm going to operate in his image. Not only will I look like him, but I'll think like him if he has a strong relationship with God. I've got news for you. If you want to be good to your family, you better be close to God. I see it here. By Genesis chapter 6, the thing had deteriorated so completely that God saw that the wickedness of man was great in the earth, and that every imagination imagination of his thoughts of his heart was evil continually. Can I look at that? The wickedness of his heart was great. But notice now, every imagination of the thoughts of his heart was only evil continually. Every evil continually. Continually. Oh my goodness. Did he have a pleasant thought anywhere? Because continually. And so now we have come to judgment. And this brings nothing but a generation of problems. Noah saved his family by his faith, because it's only his faith in God that could save his family from the judgment. There are many judgments, not only catastrophic extirpations, but there are many judgments. There's the judgment of not having enough money to pay your rent. That's a judgment. The judgment of not being able to educate your kids through school. That's a judgment. The judgment of not being able to put clothes on their backs, food in their mouths, shelter over their heads. That's a judgment. We don't have to wait till the end time, the eschatological move of God. Judgment is when you can't operate in glory and in honor. And God did not make me in his image for his image to look bad, or for his likeness to look bad. If anybody's in a hurry to help me to be the ruler in the sense that I should, he will. That's why when I'm back is against the wall, all I've got to say is, help me out, Lord. Help me to have the respect. Now Ham wouldn't cover his father's nakedness, but he laughed. And there's always a judgment when you don't honor your father and your mother, because that is the same way, it's the same symbol of not honoring God, because mother and father have an umbrella that is indicative of their significance in the future of the child. That's why the word says, if you don't honor them, your life will be short upon the earth, because it's the honor that represents your understanding of their significance. And even if your father is naked, you ought to cover him. I wish I could talk to somebody here. I feel the Holy Ghost. I don't want to go there. I better back off it. But I think I need to go there. I don't care how weak your dad is. Don't drop him. Cover him. And that's why I want to preach this. The curses are off. Because the issues of theology and psychology are more pronounced in direct situation with family than anything else. Anytime you bring theology into play on a day like today, you have to understand that this is not just to preach for the spirit. This has to have something in it for the mind, because theology must take on a psychological platform in order to change the minds of the way people think. If theology then is seen as an effort of prevention, but if it meets the family too late, the issue is not prevention now, the issue is intervention. Can I preach like I feel it? I cannot reverse your life's history and take you back to what you've been through growing up, but it is my duty to stand behind the sacred desk and tell you, don't let how you were raised become the last thing that you do. But there is a God who does not prevent certain things but intervenes. Oh, I feel like preaching in here today. The intervention becomes significant because both our intertwined into theological truth, because how can you intervene if you have no idea of how to prevent? It's having the idea of how to prevent that gives you the power to intervene. And sometimes you learn how to prevent by going through something that was not prevented in your life. I feel like preaching here. Give somebody a high five and tell them, with all I've been through, I know how to help you, and I know how to bless your sons and how to bless your daughters. With all the mistakes I've made, I've learned how to remedy some situations. So don't look at my failures and decide I'm unqualified. It's because I went through it. I know how to bless you in it. We might as well have some church. It would seem then, as Emerson Foddick says, and I quote, he says, the central business of every human being is to be a real person, because we possess by nature the factors out of which personality can be made, and to organize them into effective personal life is every man's primary responsibility. So the generation has gone through, and God did not prevent sin from entering into the world, and the generation curse intensified even under the law. And that's why he says in Ezekiel, the fathers have eaten sour grapes and the children's teeth are on edge. And edge comes from the root assembling without purpose. It means dull and blunt. Because the fathers lived a certain way, the child has no real impetus, no real drive, because they saw no example of somebody intense. It's the intensity of what is passed down to you that makes you into an energetic achiever. And that's why you have to see achievement in your family in order to become an achiever yourself. And I'm so glad that God, when you don't have it around you, he'll bring something to show you, because God is ultimately going to be responsible for how you come out. I feel like lifting him up. Become dull, I feel it here. Have no impetus, have no drive, that never get to the place where you stand on your own. Can I preach? Mothers have a proclivity to smother you, and mothers have a tendency to keep you in their little umbrella, but fathers will raise you and put you out. Aren't you big enough to get out of here now? The two bulls can't reign in the same pen. Have you heard that? Oh yes, it's time for you to go. How old are you? Get up and get going. When you have a father, he'll rush you to maturity, whereas mother will keep you under the blanket. Oh, don't push him so hard. You gotta be easier on him. If we're gonna make a man out of him, we need to move him into manhood as quickly as we can get him. Oh God, I feel it here. That's why when fathers aren't around, mothers have a hard time raising children after a certain age. I know a few of you came out all right, but you're an exception to the rule. 1 out of every 3 of our boys is in the system. So if your boy didn't make it, that's an exception. But if daddy is around and the image of the father moves into the child, if he's positive, then that child will stand the test. I heard somebody say, train up a child in the way he should go, and when he is old, he will not depart from it.